Well, many of you know that in my previous career, I was a CPA calling on clients for new business, sitting down with clients talking about their business. One of my favorite questions I used to love to ask people was simply, tell me your story. Tell me your story about your business. Tell me your story about your family, your dreams. And we all have a story. Being asked that question can, depending on how you ask it, can be positive. I love to sit down with couples and ask them to tell me their story about their family and the way they were raised. When they are preparing for marriage, we have our times together, and that's a joyful way to have that question asked. But I don't know about you, but when I was in high school, we had these very zealous people that sometimes we even referred to them as Jesus freaks, and they'd get right up in your face and they would say, instead of tell me your story, they'd say, have you been saved? And just really put you back on your heels. So sometimes finding out about somebody's story can be negative, but we all have our own story. I don't care who you are. Well, today in our devotion, we're in Acts 22. And in this chapter, we get to hear Paul declare his own story, his own faith journey. And it recounts some of what was in chapter 9 when Paul is on the road to Damascus, and we read about that in chapter 9. But these are Paul's own words talking about what he has done with his life. And we know that story well. He starts out as Saul, the very zealous Pharisee that goes out, and he's basically a glorified bounty hunter. He finds the people that are following the way, the Christians, and he binds them and brings them back to prison. He doesn't do the killing or the torturing, but he binds them and brings them back. He's the bounty hunter. And he talks about this, and then he talks about how he was there when Stephen was stoned to death. And Paul may have even brought Stephen in, who knows. But then he wanted to go to Damascus to gather up all the people in the way. And it's on that road to Damascus that Paul's story makes that dramatic turn, where he encounters the risen Lord. He is blinded on the road to Damascus, and Jesus speaks to him on that road. Well, we know that story, and we know that story very well. But today I ask you, what is your story? Have you been saved? No, I'm just kidding. I won't throw that to you. But what's your story? As you're pondering this devotion today, what is your story? And Jazzy, right on cue, we're standing out here. This is Jazzy, the Wonder Boston Terrier. She is 12 years young, and she is beautiful. But we are here on these steps of this house that we built 27 years ago. This is part of our story. It's all of Jazzy's story. But we are building a new house, and we have sold this one, and in 3 days we're going to move. And this is a big part of our story. And there's positives and negatives and challenges about moving and all the things that we've shared here. But that's part of our story. So as you are pondering today, I would love to know more about your story. When we get back to normal and we're back in the church, maybe you can come by the office, talk to me, or any of our clergy. We would all love to hear your story, both your family, your business, but if you're willing to do that, to share your faith story with us. We all have a story. Chapter 22, as you read it today and hear Paul's story again from his own lips, I hope you will also take the time to pause and reflect on your story, your family's story, your faith story. And then may God bless you as we find time today to ponder each of our stories. I hope you have a blessed day as you study this 22nd chapter of Acts. May God bless you and your family. Stay safe and healthy, and keep checking on your neighbors.